Boxing promoter Eddie Hearn believes Nate Diaz versus Jake Paul is a mismatch. He doesn't see Nate lasting past the 4th round. Speaking to MMAfighting.com, Eddie said, "I watched clips of Nate Diaz hit pads. I think I might have even told you. You know that it's going to be a mismatch against Jake Paul, don't you? I know you love Nate Diaz and I love him. Listen, I've only met him a couple times, what a gent. But for it to be a mismatch against Jake Paul, yes, he's getting smoked. You can see people hit pads and you can know whether they can box. From what I saw, maybe you against Nate is a 50-50, but we can have a friendly bet on that fight. And I'll give you odds. I don't know what the actual line is because you guys do things a little bit different over here, but I'll give you 3-1 on Nate Diaz if you want it. Honestly, I'm that confident. And we're talking about Jake Paul. We're not talking about Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua fighting an MMA fighter. We're talking about Jake Paul. It won't go 4 rounds. I mean, listen, unless it's all a bit of a bluff by Nate, what I saw, maybe." Here's the footage of Conor McGregor and Dillon Danis sparring earlier this week. Robert Whittaker on the MM Arcade podcast last week predicted exactly how Marvin Vettori versus Jared Cannonier was going to go.
They counter each other really quite well. So Marvin Vettori wants to bully his opponents. He wants to get in their face, bully him, box him up, take him down. I don't think he's going to be able to do that to Jared because Jared's like he's just too powerful. I think he's too well rounded. He's going to be ready for that. But I don't think Jared's explosiveness and big shots are going to be enough to stop Vettori to put him away.
Here's what Rob had to say about the fight on this week's episode of MM Arcade. Be sure to go subscribe to Rob's YouTube channel. Links in the description.
Can I start by saying you were right. You were dead on with your prediction last week.
I will take that. I will take my prediction being dead on because I thought it would go this way. I didn't see Cannonier coming out the way he did though.
No.
Okay?
No.
So let's break down this fight. Fight starts, Marvin Vettori, Jared Cannonier. Straight away, Cannonier starts pushing a pace. Okay? Knowing what we know now, knowing that Marvin starts to slow down, Cannonier doesn't miss a beat and really starts landing shots throughout the entire fight, okay? Knowing this, in hindsight, it makes sense. But let's not forget, while Marvin was fresh, Cannonier was pushing the pace, standing in that range, that hit range, that mid-range, that's that range where people get knocked out, and he wasn't, and Marvin was answering.
Yeah.
Cannonier almost gets finished.
I remember.
Due to that in the first round. Now, you can make a point, an argument that every time Cannonier was getting hurt and getting hit and getting like punched a lot was when he switched stances.
Yeah.
Pushing the pace whilst still switching stances was dangerous. And he almost got slept because of it.
Joe Rogan recently gave his take on if Mike Perry were to fight Conor McGregor in BKFC. On the Joe Rogan Experience, Joe said if Conor decided to do that, if somehow or another the UFC gave him the green light to do that, I can't imagine how that could ever happen. But if it did, if that happened in a bare knuckle fight, that would be f***ing bananas. He's a very good kicker too. He could do everything. But if somehow or another he agreed to fight bare knuckle, I mean, Jesus Christ, you know how big that would be? That would be wild. If they did it in bare knuckle, it would get 1 million pay-per-view buys at least, probably more. Aljamain Sterling on the Weekly Scraps podcast gives advice to Chito Vera on what he can do to defeat Henry Cejudo. Henry versus Chito goes down at UFC 292 on August 19th.
Chito, if Chito is listening, I'm giving you the goods, and not to be ripping off of Henry like, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm saying as an analyst, the way I look at this fight, if I'm a coach for Chito, I'm going, we have to stay long, and we have to make Henry pay anytime he tries to close that distance with elbows. Anytime he tries to close that distance, we cover and we step in with a hard knee. Something right up the middle and very direct. Henry can't go around with these big hooks because he's going to need to close the distance way too much because of his short alligator arms. And that's why I'm saying on paper, Henry is the more superior guy in terms of that skill set.
Wise, yeah. But
the
Against
physical
125ers.
attributes against 125ers. We're talking 135ers. And this is what Henry wanted to be the backup for myself and Sean, and I go, you just don't want to fight nobody bigger than you again. You want to fight Marab. And I said it because of Marab. He was like, he wants to fight Marab, he'll wait. I'm like, what you're waiting for is to fight someone who's closer to your stature and size. You don't want to fight the guys who are super tall and going to give you some problems, because that was what he struggled with against me. I think if we were the same thing in terms of height and reach, that's a different fight. Like, of course, my physical ability is what played a big factor in that fight, and I'm not naive to that. And I think that's what Chito has to look at. Like, how can I figure out ways to hurt him? And I know what his approach is going to be. He's going to try to close the distance. He's going to try to start fast. If he takes me down, what the heck does Henry do when he takes him down? Is he going to posture up like Corey Sandhagen did in the first round? If I'm Chito, I got a lot of confidence coming into this one. Yeah, the biggest disadvantage is it's a 3-round fight. Because the 5-round is a main event between, come on.
So this fight between Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg is really gaining some traction now. Dana White did an interview with TMZ. He said talked with Mark and Elon last night. Both guys are absolutely dead serious about this. The biggest fight of all time was Floyd and Conor. I just think it triples that. It triples what that did. There's no limit on what that thing can make. John Jones tweeted, "You already know I am Team Zuck. Let me know if you need a training partner." Jorge Masvidal tweeted at Elon Musk, "Let me know we get some work in." Colby Covington and Michael Chandler were randomly on Fox News over this whole thing. Colby explains why he's taking Elon Musk.
Who do you think would win such a match and why?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Laura. It wouldn't even be competitive. Mark Zuckerberg, he brings beta soy boy energy. Elon Musk, he brings alpha energy. He's a man of the people. He's looking to restore free speech. He's looking to fight the corruption and collusion at the highest levels of government. He's a man of the people right now, and he's an alpha. He talks the talk and he walks the walk. I don't think Zuckerberg will actually get in the octagon with him. And if he did, Laura, I don't ever think he'd be the same person ever again.
And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post future ones. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. These comments are in reference to the American Airlines employee who mistreated Daniel Cormier and the MMA community having his back. If you haven't seen yesterday's video, go check it out. The first one's from Peter Griffin. It says, "I'm surprised American Airlines doesn't charge extra to pressurize the cabin." The second one's from The Eagle Has Landed. It says, "The reason why that employee didn't speak to DC is because he didn't want more people knowing about how horrible their service is." And the final one says, "Dana, I don't do gimmick fights. Dana, let's do DC versus Jose Chavez." This is the dude who mistreated Daniel Cormier, by the way. Everyone, understandable. Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured on the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. If you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen to get caught up. And make sure to go subscribe to our second channel where we post our exclusive MMA interviews.